Because I don't own the rights to this music, I'm going to cut the music, but I'm going to keep this playing. Just see, I want you to watch in the front row there, little old Mabel. Pastor goes and kneels with her, and she is just having the time of her life. You've never seen someone have such joy in their heart. But yeah, there he is. Pastor's kneeling, and then you see that little white head there front and center, and that's grow the farm up. You know that guy who just turned around. Um, but yeah, I want you to just observe the sheer joy of especially the little old ladies in the front row there. And this is a song called "A New Hallelujah." Wonderful song, wonderful song. I really wish I could play it for you because it's one of Pastor Bill's favorites. It's one that our church knows quite well. When I first started coming to this church, this was one of the first songs that I kind of associated with this church. And it's one of the few worship songs that breaks something that I think. Because to me, modern worship music seems somewhat irreverent. Like me and Grow the Farm Up grew up in a very traditional, come from a very old Christian tradition. Okay. Like we come from the old Catholic tradition. So the modern worship music is going to seem at the very least irreverent, and like I'm sure like if Grow the Farm Up were to go to some of these mega churches I've been to over the last few years, like some of the music would almost sound downright like nearly blasphemous. But this one really kind of, it's a modern song, but it's so beautiful in its construction. And it's a song that slowly builds and builds and builds and builds, and by the end of it you just can't help but be full of joy. Okay. And gosh, I wish I could play this for you, but sadly I can't tonight. But we will maybe on Twitch sometime. We will definitely give that a shot. But let's I don't know how much time is left here. Uh Grow the Farm Up goes, I think because it's a song sung by people, isn't it changed enough that it's considered modified enough? Potentially, potentially. But Grow the Farm heart rate's back under 100. I'll live. It's been 90 minutes. If I ain't dead yet, I'm probably not. I'm probably gonna wake. Well, that's good. But yeah, like now you and I, we grew up with like Gregorian chants and like very old stuff, and so like things written in the 1700s was considered new for where we came from. So it's kind of fascinating that like I found any modern worship song good, let alone this one. So just something to keep in mind because yeah, you and I Grow the Farm Up. We come from the oldest Christian traditions, and so uh, we literally the Catholics have something called sacred tradition, where they actually put their traditions above the word of the Bible. And that's where I have to break away because I cannot can affirm that someone who calls himself the Pope is the actual vicar of Christ on earth. No man can lay claim to that title. We are all fallen, debauched creatures. And so that's one of the big reasons why I broke away from the tradition we were raised under. But but I still have a reverence for some things. Like I still love Gregorian chant. Okay, like truth be told, I will listen to Gregorian chant even when I'm sleeping. Like it is an excellent thing. But we're getting yeah, we're getting almost done with it. They're getting to like the breakdown part of the song, like from Africa to New York to New York to Houston, or I forget what it is. Really, Grow the Farm. Really, YouTube won't let you play a congregation singing a song? Did the friggin' Beatles write it? Come on, YouTube, you gotta let Maybell sing. Well, the thing is, we're singing over a track of a recording. Okay, so that's the way that the church starts its worship. Is it has three songs. This is actually a very normal thing in Protestant churches. Actually, Grow the Farm Up. I found it kind of jarring myself because they're not like very rarely do we just open a hymnal and sing from that and have one person on the piano that we could play no problem because there's no copyright involvements. but this one is a well-known and very popular gospel song called New Hallelujah. And so, yeah, obviously there's going to be some copyright issues with that. So that's why I'm playing this sermon now. So I'm going to edit the song part out, and then that will be basically how this sermon gets preserved into the future, because eventually Facebook's going to take it down because, well, copyright. So I'm the this podcast here and the Sutton Community Church YouTube page will be the only record that this sermon ever happened ultimately. So that's a weird thing. Copyright laws are why this sermon would have, without my intervention here tonight, otherwise been wiped from the pages of history. So when you listen to the rest of this sermon, I want you to keep in mind that this was preaching that was almost lost forever. Uh, if you're feeling adventurous, says we are on a biblical adventure. That is true. The biblical adventure of a lifetime for all of us. But like I was just saying, this sermon, like Pastor made the decision for us to sing this song in the middle of the sermon. Perfectly fine. Problem is copyright reasons. So the rest of the sermon that you're about to see was, if not for my intervention here today, nearly lost to all time and history. So keep that in mind when you're listening to this and enjoy, folks. Let's get her rolling again. And almost. There we are.